the two of you, along with Holg, had very rapidly departed from Verdale in pursuit of a cloaked figure.
Don't just say a cloaked figure. We know who it was.
Well, it was a cloaked figure, and Pedwin detected a very familiar axe, a very strange object. And this guy was tear-assing out of the village.
Sounds painful.
He was.
He was tearing a horse's ass, while walking out of the village.
Not quite, but you get the idea. The two of you and Holg, took off, trying to chase at whatever speed you could manage. I should say the fastest speed you could manage. And over the course of your pursuit, lost sight of Danny and Kanye. Late into the night, I know, right? Late into the night, you came upon a hill, or a natural elevation in the terrain, and at the top of this was a large wooden wall. And behind it, through interacting with the guards, you've come to understand there is a region known as the Crossroads. The guards wouldn't let you in, so the three of you decided to camp out nearby. You tied up your horses next to a tree that all of you set up camp on. And from there, we will take our story. You have had a full night's rest. Please add get your HP increase, so roll your die for that and add that to your maximum. You are both level 3, congratulations.
We just reticulated spline?
Yes, you reticulated some splines.
Where are we? Oh, there we are. Hey, look, it's my horse. Wait a minute. I thought we were in the southwest quadrant.
Nope, you guys asked the guards in the south where they last saw the figure you were pursuing. And you were told by them, well, frankly, you were just kind of pointed off in a direction which happened to be towards the northwest. And then you guys decided to make camp. Well,
we don't know they were horse thieves, we just know Holg woke us up. And
over the course of the night, there were some, I should say there was an attempt to rob you guys of your horses, but Holg, apparently sleeping with one eye open, managed to pick up some signs of movement in the direction of the horses, and shouted the two of you to wake up. And as the two of you wake up, there are
pirates?
two lizard men that are
people.
trying to steal your horses. Yes.
Like the lizard men from the boat?
Not like the lizard men from the boat. The ones from the boat were exhausted and bore a white scar that looked like a claw mark across their face. These ones do not appear to be quite that tired, and definitely do not bear that scar. No, it's daytime now. You guys woke up. So this is how you've had your full rest, and you woke up to Holg yelling at you to get up because he saw these potential horse thieves. All right, let's roll initiative.
Bum.
And lucky you guys, you do not have a surprise round against you because of Holg's perceptiveness.
Did I just roll initiative? I know I clicked the button. Oh, I forgot to select my dude.
Okay. Oh, I gotta roll for Holg as well, sorry. Give
And
me a
to
sec
bring
here.
up my manual quick, too.
Alright, and that's what Holg got.
Game guides. Indeed.
Okay, so the lizard men get to go first.
What a bunch of bitches.
Well, maybe they think you're bitches. Did you ever consider that, Steve-O?
Hey, we're not the ones trying to steal horses now, are we?
Speaking of that, they now notice that you are awake. They heard Holg shout. And they are definitely going to beat a rather expeditious retreat.
They're running
So-
away?
Well, they are running away, but one of them has managed to free your horse and is going to spend his action to mount it.
So since they're running away, do we get a,
You are not within range to get an opportunity attack.
we're not?
Nope. You got to be within 5 feet.
Oh.
So one of them is just going to fucking bolt on foot. Speed is 30. Okay. So he can get there. So he is going to mad dash it. Yeah, that's 30 feet. Okay. And then this guy is going to have to make... Okay, wow. Oh no, it's with disadvantage though. All right, so rather nervously and clearly with no sense of any and all training, this lizard man has managed to not fall off the horse and is currently riding away. And he gets about this far. All right, that will end their turn. It is now Holg's turn. And seeing this, he has readied his crossbow, and he is going to fire at the lizard man that is on the horse, because he's a taller target and easier to hit. Unfortunately, well, he's not because he understands the need for the horse. However, his attack, he fires it and it goes wide and soars over the head of one of the lizard men, who is definitely ducked out of the way, and it does no damage. That ends Holg's. He's gonna take his move now.
Where can
And
we
he's
see how
gonna
much?
fucking run.
Where can we see how much we can move? Oh, speed.
It's in your speed.
Because they're a bunch of assholes.
You do ponder that to yourself.
HPG, what square am I in?
You are in the square that you are measuring from right now.
Okay. Is it my turn?
It is your turn, because Hold cannot do anything else. Oh, he really should have moved up and then attacked, but I guess I wasn't thinking there.
He's our DM is screwing us so.
It's your turn, Big Mo.
Alright, I'm going to. I can move then attack, right?
Yes, you can.
Alright. If I yell something to Joe, does it count as an action?
Depends on what you're yelling.
It shouldn't count as an action, right? If I'm running and yelling?
Well, if you're going to, like, relay some very specific instructions, then it's going to take some time, and thus will count as an action.
But it's not specific instructions, it's just something like.
Like, if it's just, what's up, then that's fine.
It's 6 words.
I will consider it a bonus action.
A bonus action? Okay, whatever. So as I start running, I tell Joe, I hope you have sleep prepared. Okay. I'm gonna make a move here. And I assume I can just toss a javelin. I would hope.
You can totally toss a javelin.
I don't know the range. Range is 30. I think I'm within 30. Which one's on the horse?
The one on top is on the horse.
Alright, I'm just gonna throw a javelin at a horse rider.
Alright.
That brings my ammo down 1.
Alright, so Big Mo charges up. He rears back and out of the corner of his eye is focusing on the lizard man who is barely managing to stay on top of this horse as it's galloping away. You rear back and throw your spear, or a javelin, sorry. And just like the crossbow bolt, it goes a little bit wide and actually careens over top of the lizard man on the horse and does no damage.
Perfect.
And thus ends your turn. It is now Pedwin's turn. Oh, there is one thing though. You do notice, lying in wait behind some nearby debris, like fallen trees, or I should say specifically cut trees, it's like logs, there is a third lizard man waiting, and he appears to be signaling off towards the northern exit of the camp, or of the crossroads.
Signaling as in...
Yeah, as in like he's waving a hand and pointing pointing towards the north. He's actually not even looking at you at this moment.
Aren't they all together in a circle?
You're trying to... Okay, so you're trying to cast it so that it only catches the guy on the horse. Okay, let's see. Yes, you can target up to 6 creatures of your choice within a 40-foot cube within range. And the range is 120 feet, easily within that distance. Okay, yes, you can do that.
I like this spell. Just don't make me go to sleep, Joe.
Okay, 22 HP affected. Starting with the creature that's lowest current hit points. Oh, but you're only hitting the one on top of the horse, right? Oh yeah, because it's at that height. Okay. The lizard's man, as you cast the spell, your hands go through a few movements in front of your body. There is a slight utterance that you can hear, and give me a color, Joe. And you see, well, Big Mo can see pink tendrils that start to weave in and amongst Pedwin's fingers. He then opens up his eyes and pushes his hands outward in the direction of the lizard man. This cloud appears in an area above the lizardman that you're targeting and seems to drift downwards. And sure, it looks a little bit like a gigantic cloud of cotton candy. And it just catches the upper half of the lizardman riding the horse. The horse, a little bit spooked by what's going on.
Does it affect the horse?
No, it's not within range to affect the horse. The lizardman slips off the side of the horse and lands rather abruptly on the ground, startling himself back awake. But the horse, now being freed of its rider and rather spooked by what's going on, is fleeing from the lizardman. It is going to go... Actually, you know what? I'm just going to roll for this.
You probably should have put the horse to sleep.
It might not have been a bad idea. Okay, so the horse has turned and fucking bolted, and it's gonna run right past Big Mo.
Do I get an opportunity grab?
You do not get an opportunity to grab. You are gonna have to make a dexterity saving throw to not get hit by a charging horse.
I can't I can't try to jump on. I have to do what one now? Dexterity saving?
A dexterity saving throw. If you want to have as like an alternative to this that you're trying to grab a hold of the horse, then I will try and factor that into the roll.
I can't do strength to try to grab the horse.
No, this is you getting out of the way. Strength comes later.
Yeah, let me look at it.
Okay. Fortunately, it is not very difficult to get out of the way of a horse, so you dive very deftly off to the side.
And grab it by the legs?
You do not grab it by the legs.
And attempt to down it? I think you're underestimating the strength of Big Mo.
So the other two lizard men have gotten their friend back up to his feet.
Did that take an action?
That took their action, yeah, so they didn't get an opportunity attack against the horse. Alright, it is now the lizardmen's turn. And they are all gonna fucking run.
Wanna murder one.
Okay. Oh. Actually, you know what? Sorry. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna go back to where they were. Because I forgot they have these things.
Called Joe's movement.
Well, actually, I suppose we should sort that out. Joe, you didn't want to move anywhere? Okay. So the lizard men, all three of them are going to turn and throw javelins.
Javelins?
Yep. Steve-O, what is your AC?
15.
Okay. Oh. Okay. So, the three lizard men turn around and they prep their javelins. And all in series, they throw 1, 2, 3. One of them targeting Big Mo, one of them targeting Holg. So the first one was targeting Big Mo. It was 20 versus AC, which I believe connects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you take 6 points of piercing damage.
Oh no.
The second javelin was also aimed at Big Mo. However, its aim was not very good, This was the one that that tumbled off the horse, and he appears to have been injured a little bit by that. So his javelin goes wide. The third one is thrown at Holg, and this javelin strikes very, very true. It hits Holg straight in the center of the chest and actually knocks him off of his feet. Okay. And now they're going to run.
What a bunch of bitches. I want to get one of them.
Oh, there's still plenty of opportunity to. So Holg is knocked off his feet with a ugh! And he is currently considered prone. Okay. Holg is going to spend his action getting up. And really not a big fan of what just happened. He is going to pursue them. All right, and he does not have the opportunity to make another attack, so it is Big Mo's turn.
What square is this lizard man in?
If you can get next to him, I'll consider you within striking distance.
I can get right there.
That is not close enough to hit him. However, that is
What?
close enough to hit the lower one.
I'm gonna move there.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I'm gonna rage because I'm angry. So that's gonna happen.
Alrighty.
And then I'm gonna take out my great axe and the shit out of this lizard man.
Alright, make a swing against the lizard man. Alright, the rage gives you additional damage too. Okay,
Yes.
so you charge up in a fury.
I'm not
And
doing a
the-
reckless attack, by the way.
Hmm?
I'm not doing a reckless attack, by the way.
Okay, well you're gonna have to say when you want to do a reckless attack or not.
Okay.
So, having taken some damage, your blood starts to pound within your eardrums, and you are chasing down this this fleeing target. It's kicking in a lot of basic primordial hunter instincts, where you are pursuing the thing that is running away from you. You take a big vertical swing with your axe and just bury it into this thing's arm.
Shoulder or arm?
Into the let's say the shoulder,
Okay.
and it actually cleaves through some of the armor.
Yeah, take that, lizard man.
And
Shit.
You see it spurt out from underneath that, and it definitely seems like you hit something pretty important. The lizard man just rears back and lets out this wicked hiss at you in rage as it just takes this quite considerable damage. All right, Pedwin, what are you doing? The horse is away from the thing that scared it, so no, it's decided to just stick by the tree that it was initially tied up to. Okay. You're gonna cast it in front of the two, like up to the top right of the lizard man? Okay. Go ahead, let me just look at what Dust Devil does. Oh, look at that, you got it right there. Okay, so let's draw in a Dust Devil real quick. Although apparently choosing colors in this takes a really long time, so it's not that quick. Okay, there is Joe's Dust Devil. That is where you said, right? Okay, so does it come into effect as soon as you cast it, or does it do you have to wait until the other ones or the other creatures take their turn? Okay. It doesn't attack on its own, does it? Oh wait, this is one of the new spells, huh? Okay, let's look at this shit. The storing up the stuff at the start of the day. Well, you got rudely awoken, so let's consider that you can do that after the battle. Okay, so it's creatures that end their turn there, right? All right. Well, you know what? It's going to be more interesting for me to do it this way, so I'm going to say that it has effect. Okay, so strength saving throw. What's your spell DC? 13. Okay. Okay. So, Pedwin mutters another incantation, and once again reaches his hands outstretched in the direction where he wants his spell to take form, and from the hard packed earth that surrounds the crossroads, a small funnel of wind begins to form and kick up all of the dust and dirt and everything that's around it. And it just churns up right in front of these lizard men, who have to take a step back in surprise as to this thing that just appeared in front of them. The force of its creation is enough to cast off a strong wind that each of the lizard men, they have to shield their eyes from all the dust coming at them, but none of them are knocked over. And it's 1d8 bludgeoning damage, right? Okay, so I would like you to roll a d8. Oh, nice. Okay, well, they did make their saving throw, so it's going to be half damage.
No, it takes half
On a
as much
successful
damage.
save, the creature takes half as much damage and isn't pushed. Okay. So that is going to end your turn. The lizardmen are now going to take their turn. You didn't really have the chance to study their behavior much anymore, but the lizardmen certainly seem to have responded to the presence of this churning creation of wind in front of them, and they are wind and dust, and they are very surprised and conceivably quite threatened by this thing.
I don't think
So
that's how lizards work.
the dust devil doesn't. It's not like a full creature, right? It doesn't have like anything that will attack them if they pass through it. Okay. Well, they're definitely going to have to go around instead of going through it. Let's see here. So, first we're going to deal with the lizardmen that is quite close to Pedwin and Holg, or sorry, Big Mo and Holg. And this guy he's bleeding quite profusely now. So rather than turn and fight, he is going to continue to try and run. So
bitch.
Holg and Big Mo, you buried your axe into his shoulder.
Turn and fight.
Well, both of you are going to get an opportunity attack on him, so make an attack. Okay. So Big Mo, he once again. Well, actually, tell you what. You've killed him. So how do you describe? How do you get him? How does he die?
I want to chop off his leg.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear it. How do you chop off his leg?
By hitting it with my axe.
All right, so Big Mo swings around and brings his axe horizontally across the leg, just below where it connects to the hip, and it just cleaves right through as if it doesn't meet any resistance at all. And there is just the wet thud of this leg hitting the ground, and then the lizard man hitting the ground next to it, who has gone completely blank expression and lets out one last rasping hiss as the last of his breath leaves his body. He is 100% dead.
Can I spit on his body?
You can absolutely spit on his body as a bonus action.
I spit on his body.
Okay. That is considered difficult terrain now.
I should have kicked his body instead.
Okay, he can get that far. This guy has got to go around the Dust Devil.
I don't think that slows him down at all.
It doesn't slow him down. Well, him having to get around it slows him down. So he's got to do, that's 10 feet, 15, 20, 25, 30. So he is right there now. I just need to see something on...
Is Holg's movement 30? Do we know that?
I'm sorry?
Do we know Holg's movement?
Hulk movement is 30, yes. And I just got to do a quick thing here. That's what I was looking for. Alright, so those two have finished their run. It is Holg's turn. And instead of pursuing, Holg is simply going to fire his crossbow again.
Boo.
Well, Holg took a pretty serious hit by a javelin to the chest, so he's not He's not raring to charge out there just yet. Okay, so Holg readies his crossbow and fires, and it lands itself square in the back of one of the fleeing lizard men. And he's got to spend an extra 5 feet to get past the obstruction. So 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, and he is there. Big Mo, it's your turn.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do.
Alrighty. So, Big Mo charges forward at these fleeing lizard men, brings his axe in a great big vertical arc, and just buries it right into the back of this guy. It looked as if he wasn't going to make it, but the axe managed to catch part of the lower body instead of the upper body near like the shoulders. And that lizard man is now hobbling his way forward. He is basically on death's door.
Yeah, bitch. Don't try to steal my horse. That ends my turn.
That ends your turn. It is at this point. Actually, can I have you make a perception? No, you know what? It's probably pretty fucking obvious. You do notice 2 more lizard men that are further ahead that are running towards the forest to the north. And they actually completely escape from sight, and you do not see them anymore. All right, Edwin, what are you doing? Okay. Now, is there a certain distance that it has to be from you before it dissipates? No, you can just move it. That's pretty sweet. All right. So you've moved it here? Okay, so you can move it as a bonus action, so you can still... Okay, so that means you still have an action and a movement. It does count as an action to mount a horse, I will say that as well. What's the range on Ray of Frost? Okay. At this distance, if you move... Well, I'm assuming you're going to move far enough north that you have an unobstructed view of the lizard man. Okay, well, then... make your attack roll, then. Or we're taking the second one, though. Yeah, because that's the one that shows up on the dice roll. Okay, so... Pedwin dashes off to the side, and then, with his very, very keen sense of ranging and targeting spells from all of his years doing the underground magic dueling that got him kicked out of the College of Farmatting.
Did you say formatting? Farm adding?
He, as he's running again, mutters a very quick incantation and then points his finger directly at the lizardman that has been severely hobbled by these attacks, and a very thin blue-white beam streaks out from his fingertip and strikes this hobble. Ah, okay. So take a look then. Okay. All right, so 120 for you. So the beam impacts the lizard man square in the back. The aim is true and it's dead on target. And Big Mo, from your vantage point, you can physically hear the sound of flesh freezing as this small region of frozen lizard man scales begins to just spread and spread and spread across this thing's back. Its blood crystallizing as it just and then just freezes in place, and then the top half of his body breaks off and tumbles to the ground. He is now dead. Well, that was the very injured one. That one just took 2 big axe blows from Big Mo.
Wasn't just a crossbow and an axe?
No, the crossbow one had been... Sorry, no, he had been hit by the crossbow, and he also got hurt by the Dust Devil. And then it was a big axe blade, and then the Ray of Frost. Okay, there is 1 lizard man left. Are you doing anything else with your turn, Joe? Okay, so you've moved laterally. You said you moved north. Have you moved closer to them at all? Okay. Alrighty, it is the 3rd lizard man's turn. And he is gonna have to get around this Dust Devil again. Okay, so that takes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Okay. And, oh wait, no, but he was not within 5 feet, so he is not going to get an opportunity attack against him. He is also not making any attacks. He is running away. It is Holg's turn.
Hold you fuck him up.
And he is going to fire another crossbow bolt at this thing.
I hope he hits its leg. I want them all dead.
Okay. So Holg charges past the Dust Devil, pulls out his crossbow, takes aim, and fires, and shoots this thing right in the leg.
Yeah.
And it kind of, the lizard man buckles for a moment and comes down onto the knee that just took that bolt. And it looks like it really hit the mark. It might have gone straight through and hit the bone at that point. And he's starting to bleed pretty profusely from that wound, and along with the other minor points of damage that he's already taken. All right, that ends Holg's turn. Big Mo, you're up.
Am I able to use one of my actions to perform a 10-foot dive and try to knock the lizard man to the ground?
I'm gonna have you make an athletics check, but yes, you could do that. Wait, how close is he?
I'll be right there.
Okay, so that's your 30 feet of movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so I think you're gonna use your movement for a dash so you can cover the rest of the distance, right?
Assuming I can try to knock him down or something.
All right, well,
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that during a dash.
well, no, okay, to grapple a creature, or I think to knock it prone, is going to take an action, but if you're dashing, that's also going to take your action.
That's what I was asking, if there's a way I can catch up and try to knock him over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leap 10 feet.
Okay, what's your strength?
Big Mo has big legs. A lot? I don't know what
Okay,
number
so-
I'm supposed to look at.
All right, don't worry about it. So move your 30 feet and then perform an athletics check. Okay. I set the DC on that pretty high, but... So, Big Mo, he takes off running and stepping with one gigantic stride over the top of the body that... or the frozen crystallized remains of one of these lizard men. He dives forward and tackles this remaining lizard man to the ground. Both of you are knocked prone, and that is the end of your turn. Pedwin, what are you going to do?
On which dude?
On the remaining one? Okay, I am going to have you make an attack roll at disadvantage because it's going to be very difficult to not hit Big Mo.
Can you hit both of us and spread the frost to him?
Nope, it's got to be one target.
My heart's already cold.
Well, it's not your ability to hit or not, it's your ability to not hit Big Mo. You guys are getting some good rolls today. You can make it non-lethal. Hey,
I don't think he has enough damage.
Big Mo, can you move your avatar for a moment?
Nope.
Thanks. Okay, so that's 7 cold damage. Okay, so you once again so you haven't even moved, right? Okay, so you root yourself very firmly, and Pedwin once again mutters the same incantation, pointing a finger again, and the same blue-white jet of energy streaks forward from his finger and slams into the leg that has already taken a bolt. And that whole area just begins to go completely white with all the complete lack of heat in that area. And once again, Big Mo is subjected to the rather disturbing sound of flash freezing and the cries of anguish of this lizard man, who is now knocked down, has one frozen leg, and is severely injured. It has given up its fight at this point. All right, that ends this round of combat.
Yeah. The lizard man's still alive, right?
Hmm? It is still alive. It is alive with 1 point of health.
Alright, so I assume if I drag it back to the tree, it's not gonna take enough damage to die. Right?
If you don't make any attempts to hurt it, it's probably not going to die, no.
Alright. Then I'll drag it to the tree, making no attempts to hurt it.
Alright. There are guards around, and that's actually what I'm going to get to at this point, so let me get some reveal going here. So in all the chaos of trying to protect your horses and defeat these thieves, you guys have noticed that there is definitely some activity going on in the crossroads at the moment. The gates have been flung wide open, and you see at least 2 or 3 guards that are all actually running north towards the forest in pursuit of the remaining lizard men who did not stop to engage you. And you can see up on top of the walls now that there are at least 2 crossbowmen up on top of the walls looking over the north face. There are the sounds of just kind of a little bit of chaos, some yelling, some shouting, but for the most part, there hasn't really been a huge disruption to the normal workings of from what you can tell, of the crossroads. So those 3 guards then disappear. So those 3 who are chasing them actually disappear off to the north. Okay. So where are those 2 dead lizardmen? There they are. So as Holg and the lizardman, or as Holg and Big Mo are dragging the lizardman back across towards the tree, they notice something concealed behind rocks and has a few pieces of debris that have been thrown over it. What you initially assumed was just a pile of disregarded logs turns out to be a grate over top of a hole.
That is a big grate.
It is a very large grate, and you're surprised you didn't notice it before, and you come to understand that this thing has been intentionally concealed. And as the 3 of you are passing by this, you don't hear any sounds, but you do get a very, very heady whiff of a powerful smell of decomposition coming out of that grate. So you bring the lizard man over to the tree.
Are the lizard men wearing clothes where they might be carrying loot on them?
The lizard men are not carrying clothes. Do you want to search the bodies of the lizard men?
Is it something where I'd find something?
What?
Would I be able to find something? Like
you're not gonna know until you find out, aren't you?
Alright. Well, I'm gonna lean him up against the tree and try to talk to him.
Okay, so
I'm gonna tell him hello.
The lizard man just looks at you with these very squinted eyes. It's giving you as much as you can tell. It is giving you the stink eye to the utmost degree. You did kill 2 of its friends and severely wound it.
They tried to steal our horse. I don't care what it's doing.
When you say hi, it peels the skin back from its mouth, revealing very sharpened teeth, and it just hisses at you.
I'm gonna pull out my axe and thump the end of it on the ground next to him, letting him know I have my axe. And then
Make an intimidation check.
Then I'm gonna say hello again. Man, I wish my intimidation was higher, though.
So,
it's possible.
Yes, he is proficient in intimidation, but his charisma isn't a -1.
Yep. Which think you'd almost think intimidation shouldn't be a charisma thing.
Oh, sure it should. It's like how you convey yourself. It's basically anything and everything to do with personality.
I wish I could just look strong and intimidate people. Isn't that all it takes? The bouncer at the club doesn't need to make me think he's strong. I can see that he's strong, and it's intimidating.
Well, yeah, but if he also talked about his crocheting on the weekend, you might be a little bit less intimidated by him.
That would scare the shit out of me. You know how the big scary I kill people guys are the ones that do crocheting or quilting or stuff like that? Yeah. Alright. Does it do anything?
It does do something. You pull the axe out and you let it bury itself in the ground very close to this extremely injured lizard man. And it looks at the axe, it looks at you. It takes into account its current physical condition, and it stops snarling at you, and it stops giving you the stink eye as much, and it it utters some. It's a kind of grunt that you can only assume is a word in whatever language this creature speaks, but it is not. It does not seem to understand what you said.
I look around and say, well, I don't suppose any of you know lizard speak.
Let's see.
Addressing Holg and what Joe's guy's name is.
Pedwin.
Edwin, yes. Edwin.
Okay. So, how long is this thing supposed to last, Dust Devil? Okay, well, I'm going to assume that it's dissipated at this point.
Oh, nice.
You swear for a brief moment that there is a very warm breeze that just seems to blow by your face a little bit, like some kind of soft caress. Okay, so Holg is just taking a minute to kind of bandage up some of his wounds, and he is going to heal up with some hit die.
Hey, you guys want to know something interesting? By the
What?
way, so I do a bike ride every once in a while. That's 25.1 miles, and my last 3 times I've done it, my times were 1 hour 51 minutes and 1 second, 1 hour 53 minutes and 30 seconds, and 1 hour 53 minutes and 8 seconds. How consistent is that? Two of them were 3 seconds from each other. Alright, that's
Is it the same route that you run?
Yeah. I just wasn't ever expecting to be so consistent. Alright, that's all. You can go back to talking about Joe's dust tornado. Baby
Oh, wow.
tornado.
Okay, so Holg rolled for the healing of the hit dice and critically failed twice.
For what?
He's not hurting that bad, but he's hurting less now, but he definitely could have healed up all the damage from that. He just got shitty rolls. Okay, so...
Wait, how much damage did he take? I thought he only took like 6 points of damage or something.
No, he took 11 points of damage. He got critted. That javelin, that was a real nice throw from one of these lizard creatures. Anyway, so as he's doing this, Holg just looking out of the corner of his eye at him. You can hear him muttering almost to himself, but clearly he's talking to the two of you. I ain't never seen a lizard that talks before.
So I suppose we should kill him then.
Anyone else have any other bright ideas?
Kill him? Roast him over a fire. Meal.
Alright, so you're gonna finish him off then?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to do
Edwin,
it. I want to do it execution style.
Alright. Go ahead. Describe it.
I hit him with my axe.
He dies. Alright. You're really bringing your A game with these descriptions, Timo. Okay, so the third lizard man. Steve-O just tapped the handle of his axe and it just basically fell over and clonked him on the head and rendered him unconscious. And that, coupled with the blood loss and all the other damage, has finished this creature off and it has breathed its last.
I'm gonna go loot them all.
You loot the bodies. Alright.
Ooh, a piece of candy.
So, scattered amongst the three of them, you find a collective 20 silver pieces and 4 gold.
I'm gonna take them
Sorry,
all
8
because
gold.
I
8 gold.
had to use all my gold to buy the stupid horses.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not the one you gotta split it with.
I don't think Joe's going to complain he didn't have to pay for the horses. How much silver? 40?
20 silver and 8 gold. So in and amongst all the other, as you're searching these lizard creatures, you do find a couple of small bone charms and things like that that they may have either made or crafted themselves, or just picked up from somebody else. Other than that, you find nothing of interest on the lizard men.
Joe, did you want to light him on fire? I mean... Okay. So, to the town, then? Do you think we... Are we going to keep chasing him, or are we going to go back to the ceremony? Yeah. I assume you don't want to go back to the Pod People village. Okay.
So
I
you're
guess-
going to explore this current town?
Yeah. We're going to grab our horses and explore the current town.
Okay. So the lot of you move towards the guard posts. These are different guards from the ones you saw last time. You imagine that the night
Where'd we
shift has
go?
probably changed.
Okay, I see where
They do give kind of a strange look at the Holg, who's got a fair amount of blood on his clothes. Not all of it his own. And then they don't seem to stop you as a lot of you pass through and into.
Joe, don't light them on fire. Please don't light them on fire.
The fish people attack. Oh, you mean you're referring to the lizard men? So the two guards, they look at each other, and they say, "Oh, right. Yeah, every so often, a group of them comes out of the forest and tries to raid for supplies. Most of the time, they can't make it past the wall." You
Wait,
mean
are we
to tell me
talking
they
to
attacked
Holg?
you? Hmm?
Are we talking to Holg?
No, that's just one of the guards.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm
Holg's
sorry I
white
don't have
cousin
quite the
from his
repertoire
aunt
of
twice
voices.
removed. Yes, they attacked us. No, they did not survive.
The two guards look at each other and then look at the three of you, and they look a little bit impressed, and they wave you past. They say, "Well done, then. If you're looking for work, you might want to speak to someone inside." You were told by a different group of guards. They just kind of pointed you in a direction. That direction was northwest along the road. All right, so the lot of you enter, and standing before you, on the inside of the large log walls,
I'm half black. Yeah, I can control a horse.
yeah, you guys should be able to control the horses. So,
Is that a ship?
you look over to your right and you see a large and rather ornate ship that appears to be held up on a wide variety of wooden stilts and supports.
Is it the
to
SS
keep it sitting
Kidney?
upright. It is definitely not the Weaver, the ship that you guys arrived on. It is a larger ship. It is much more ornate. There's lots of gold trim and dark wood used in its construction. What's more, it appears to have been there for quite a while. The sails, which are not unfurled at this point, seem to have collected quite a bit of dirt and dust. There are also a couple of watchtowers that are connected by platforms to the ship itself. You also see on the top of those watchtowers are posted a couple of guards. As you continue to walk forward, And for the time being, I'm going to say that do you guys want to tie up your horses?
Last time we did that, we had problems. I think I'm gonna keep mine with me for now.
Well, last time you were also outside the wall, but if you want to keep it with
Okay.
you, that's fine.
I guess we'll tie up our horses then.
Okay, so you tie up your horses to a hitching post. It is by the entrance that you guys came in by.
I tell the horses, don't you leave us now.
The horses appear to be mostly interested in the oats and the water that is provided for them, more so than listening to any commands.
Good horses. Due to my low charisma, I mistake them for people.
Okay, so as the group of you move forward, to the left of you, you see a variety of sizes of different canvas tents, some of them quite small, some of them rather expansive. And as you are walking around, you do also notice that there are more of these, what appear to be a kind of militia. They do not seem to bear any kind of insignia or marking on them. They are just kind of standing around. They're in piecemeal armor. There seems to be no, uniform set to this. The vibe that you get from the whole place is one of a lot more of kind of lax rules, and it's nowhere near as well established and historic a community as Verdale, where you came from. To your right, in front of the ship, which you see now, there is a large opening that's been made in the side of the ship, and a roughly painted sign hangs in front, or hangs over top of this opening, and it says, "The Gleeful Gallows."
I vote we go in.
And there are 3 smaller wooden structures kind of leading up to this, all with a kind of construction that's quite reminiscent of the ship. It seems to imitate its design, but they appear to be not made of the same materials.
Hey, I have a question. Are those poached eggs?
Huh?
Those poached eggs?
No, if you want to go over there, well, you know what, I'll fucking walk you through the place. So as you continue to walk around the town, you take in a variety of different sights. There are 3 sand pits to the southeast, and currently in them are people that are grappling or sparring.
Are those the sand pits there?
Those are the sand pits. Those are the poached eggs of the sand pits.
Okay.
What's more, as you continue to walk around, there is what you're looking at appears to be a huge kind of bazaar, in that there are stands and merchants all over the place yelling at varying volumes, sometimes in languages you don't recognize. They are selling everything from goods and foods to crafts. There is someone selling. There's actually someone standing beside a series of cages, which are lined up next to the well. Oh, I need a darker gray than that. So there are cages located near the fighting pits that contain different creatures. You do notice them. One of them seems to contain a very, very large bear. And the other 2 contain, one of them is a wolf, and one of them is a lizard man. And those creatures are contained within those cages. Give me a second to populate this.
Did you ever order a Steam controller, HPG?
I did.
Did you get Rocket League?
I've got to wait until that is... Like, apparently I need to... Oh, come on. Alright, whatever. That bear's in the cage. Apparently I've got to wait till I pick it up before they give me the code for it.
The bear's escaping. Wait, yeah, you should get it in like a couple hours inside your Steam as a gift.
I don't think I have that.
Yeah, it would either show up in your library. Yeah, it would show up in your library, just on its own, I'm pretty sure. Steam didn't give me like an email or a warning or anything that they gave it to me. I just got it.
I do not have Rocket League.
It's also possible it might have shown up in your Steam inventory instead.
I don't think there's anything in my inventory, but...
Okay. So there's a bear escaping from its cage, a lizard
It's not
man.
escaping. It's in there. Okay, so one of them contains a wolf, one of them contains a lizard man.
Is it the wolf?
The well in this the wolf's in the middle one. I don't have a wolf icon right now.
Okay.
The well in the middle of town is a very different construction from that of the ones you saw in Verdale. It's a very wide and very shallow pool that is being fed from a small stone structure off the side of it, from where you hear the sounds of a mechanism moving, but you don't see any moving parts. Okay. Make an investigation roll. I'm just going to move all you over here. Okay, so as you walk around and examine the structure, you see that it's, a little bit over, or it's around 2 meters tall, and it's not very large, but it would be big enough to contain at least one person. And from there, you do hear the sounds of what appears to be, or what sounds like metal chain that is moving and soft splashing as the water continues to feed out from this smaller stone structure and into the wide pool that forms the well in the center of town. There is a door on this on the side of this building as well, on the side that you did not initially see. You can't tell from the outside, no.
Dude, don't break it, Joe.
The nearby guards appear to be rather fixed on... One is keeping a close eye on the creatures in the cages, and the other appears to be distracted watching some of the fights that are going on in these pits. But he's not leaving his post at the nearby tent. There is a doorknob, and you find that the door is unlocked. Okay, make a stealth check.
I'm gonna move away from Joe.
Alright, so you slip inside and nobody appears to have noticed the fact that this little tiny gnome just kind of darted inside this door. As your eyes adjust to the darkness, you startle a person that's inside there cranking a winch that seems to be powering a kind of chain mechanism by... The individual that you startled is just this middle-aged man, and he lets out a yelp of surprise, like, ah! And then looks confusedly at you, and then goes back to cranking the chain. Now, you take a moment to look at this, and there does appear to be a pulley system that is carrying a chain down and out of sight through an opening in the stone floor, and off into... Well, you can't see down there because it's very dark, but you do continue to hear the sounds of the chain moving. You have dark vision? Ah, well, so you peer down, and using your dark vision, you can see that... How far is your dark vision? Okay, so you can see that near the edges of your ability to see in this level of light is a stone sepulcher. Like a cistern. It's just like an underground storehouse for water. And you can see down there that there is a small square pool that the chain with the buckets attached to it is actually dipping into and then coming back out of, and this appears to be where they're drawing the water from. You do notice a small ladder that comes down the side of the cistern. The There is a very, very faint hint of decomposition, which would be expected from something of apparently this age, and the fact that it doesn't appear to be something that has a lot of foot traffic in it, but nowhere near as powerful. Make a perception check.
Uh-oh.
Nothing strikes you as out of the ordinary about the walls of the cistern. You do note that there is still some of that smell, but from what you can tell, there's nothing indicating, or basically there's nothing that you can tell from this distance about the cistern that implies that there is more to it. From what you can tell, no one has taken note of your entrance into here, and thus no one's really going to be looking in your direction. The middle-aged man who's just kind of been standing there continuing to crank this winch, he leans forward and basically whispers to you very quietly. Are you here to relieve me?
Oh.
Oh. Well, alright then. And he lets go of the winch, the chain stops, and therefore the constant stream of water coming out of this building also stops. And he... Alright, you're going to mage hand and continue the crank, so there's only a momentary pause in the flow of water. And this guy just strolls right out. He walks out of this building. Big Mo, you see a middle-aged man walk out of that stone structure. You're going to walk out... Okay, so you are going to walk out of the building as well. You are continuing to focus on the mage hand working, and you are now back outside.
While Joe was in there, could I challenge Holg to a match in the sand pits?
Holg...
Assuming he's up for it. I tell him not to be a baby.
Holg spins on a heel at hearing the idea of a challenge to his strength and the test of his mettle, and he is more than happy to take you on.
Alright.
Alright, so...
I assume my rage has worn off?
Your rage has worn off, yes. You have had the chance to calm down now.
Oh.
The two of you walk up to the edge of the sandpit, and you push aside the people that are supposed to be next, and the two of you walk into the sandpit.
Nice.
Holg looks to you and says, "Alright then, what are the rules?"
I don't know. First
Holg
one
takes that and says, "Fine with me," and then pushes you over and immediately jumps on top of you. And you can tell that he's not putting in his full force, but he is punching you.
Okay. So I'll try to push him off. I'll kick him off. How's that sound?
All right, then I'm gonna need you to make a strength check.
I have this feeling there's going to be a lot of strength checks. Oh, come on.
Okay, so You rear up your foot to try and push Holg off of you, but Holg is the foot is pressed against his chest, and all he does is kind of stand up a little bit and lean his weight against it, and you are going nowhere. You are pushing with as much might as your leg can generate, and Holg is literally relaxing against that push.
Okay, then I'm gonna push my foot off to the side and attempt to knock him over.
Well, you're currently on the ground.
I don't care. I mean, like, so if I'm on the ground and my leg is up, right?
You're
And he's
you're
just
on the
leaning
ground.
against it?
You're lying on your back. Your leg is up, and you're pushing against Holg, and
Yeah.
Holg is.
So I can attempt to move my leg to the side, right?
You can.
And attempt to get him to fall over.
Yes, you can. All right, that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you bring your leg off to the side, and Holg stumbles for a moment and is no longer leaning against your leg, but does not lose his footing. He chuckles to himself and then picks up a handful of sand and sprinkles it over your face.
I guess I said I didn't know the rules. So then I'll take a fistful of sand and throw it in his face, or where his face was, at least.
Okay, roll a d20.
How come I get like the shittiest rolls out of combat? Like, why does it work like that? All
So
the
you-
fun stuff, I get awful rolls.
You fling your fistful of sand, and Holg brings up his arm, and it basically most of it catches or bounces off the arm and doesn't seem to have any effect on him. He takes more sand and throws it on your face again. He appears to be really enjoying this.
I'm just gonna attempt to stand up.
All right, you attempt to stand up.
Yep. I eventually have to get a good roll when I'm trying to do something like this, right?
Yes, well, given that it's a friendly competition, he lets you stand up,
Okay.
and then he looks at you and says, "How about we make this a little bit more interesting?"
Oh god, what do you have in mind?
He looks down at the pouch of money that you took off of one of the lizard creatures, the one that has the 8 gold in it,
Okay.
and he says, "That one to the winner."
Okay. So I rear back and go for a punch.
All right, you're gonna go for a punch.
Yep.
All right, before you do that, roll for initiative.
Oh. No weapons though, right?
No, this is a fist fight.
Okay, good. I almost want to go into rage for this.
You could if you really want to. It might be a little overkill, but it's
Oh,
true.
yeah,
It
you're
would
right.
work for you.
Okay. And would my strength checks be punches?
Well, if I make you do a strength check, you'll have advantage on it. But for the time being, you guys are just in a straight fist fight right now.
Okay.
All right, so you rolled better for initiative than Hulk did, so you get to throw the first punch.
I'm throwing a punch. I
All
don't
right.
know how to do that.
So just make a. Oh crap! All right, so I'm gonna have you roll a d20, and you're gonna add your proficiency modifier, so that's 2, and your strength modifier. So roll a d20 and
Could I
then
just-
add.
Okay, so roll a d20. D20 is a lot, isn't it?
Yep. Now you could, if you want to just make a fist fighting attack, like in your character spell sheet, you could do that too.
In like the weapons thing?
Yeah, in weapons, just put fist.
Just okay. Attack, reach, damage. Okay, so strength. Reach would be 5, right? What would the damage type be?
The damage is just 1, and then you add your strength modifier to it, and that's bludgeoning damage.
So I can spell this right. Good enough. Okay.
All right, make your attack.
I hope I did this right. I'm not raging, by the way.
You're not raging?
I'm not gonna waste rage on this. I don't think we're planning. Are we planning on long resting in this town?
That's entirely up to you.
Okay, because we're gonna be pretty injured after this.
So you're going to get something to eat while they're fighting, Pedwin? Okay. So the markets and the places that people are selling food are closer to those large groups of tents. It's more than 30 feet. What are you gonna do? I don't suppose your spell range increaser applies to Mage Hand? Ah, okay. I was kind of curious about that. Okay, we'll come back to you in a little bit then. All right, so Big Mo, your first attack connects. So you've so you do 4 bludgeoning damage to Holg.
I think I did. Did I do the?
Yeah, you did fine.
Okay.
All right, and Holg is going to make his attack against you. What's your AC?
I think it's 15. Hold on. Yeah, 15.
All right, so Holg rears back and swings and catches air just in front of your face. And then kind of curses to himself with a...
Do I punch again?
Yep.
Oh.
So you take another big swing, and this one, almost in a mirror image of what happened to Holg, you swing with a big hook, and you...
I can see us standing like 5 feet from each other and just like reaching our arms out. And
just like flailing madly. So you swing and miss and catch the air in front of Holg as he steps back and out of range. And he is going to attack you. That is a 14 versus AC.
Nope.
All right. So apparently this prophecy is coming true, and the two of you are just swinging at air in front of each other. Oh, jeez. What? That was a crit on both rolls. Jeez, you were destined to connect with this fucking attack.
What's that second crit? Oh, advantage roll, I see.
Okay, so you do a total of 5 damage on that one?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. And you leave this great big swollen bruise on the part of Holg's face that you connected with. And you can see he didn't like that very much. And Holg is going to make his attack. There's a 21 versus AC, so I believe that connects.
Yep.
All right, you take 4 more damage.
Damage. All right.
Your turn.
Oh.
All right, so you try and get a little fancy, and you go for a sidestep, but the sand is a little bit different surface than you're used to having a fist fight on, and your punch swings up and connects with the solid body of Holg, and it just hits muscle, and he shrugs it off like it didn't do a damn thing to him. You said your AC was 15?
Yeah.
Okay. So Holg is going to bring both hands up and just hammer blow right on top of your head. And that does connect. He brings both fists right down on your skull and kind of jostles your head around through your helmet. And you take an additional 4 damage. Your turn.
Alright, he's gonna get another punch thrown at him. Oh.
Alrighty, so again, you throw another punch, but this one hits on the other side of his body, and again does not seem to really do a lot of damage. Holg has been in quite a few fist fights, and these are not quite cutting it. You've now drawn a bit of a crowd as these two big beefy guys are starting to really fucking wail on each other. So Holg this time he's going to raise both hands up like he's going to do another hammer blow, but instead very quickly jabs one knee forward and catches you right in the stomach, and and knocks some of the wind out of you, and you take another 4 damage.
Jeez, Hold. Never miss.
He's gotten some pretty good rolls the last few.
I think that leaves me at 17. 21 minus 4? Yeah. Okay, looks like I'm going for another punch.
Well, hey, if you want to do a different kind of attack, feel free to let me know. Like, I'm just filling in the blanks here. If you have a specific way you want to attack, just say so.
I'm pretty old school. I'm just going to punch him again.
Okay. So, this one does connect. You do find your mark, and your third shot to the body, this one you're aiming straight for the solar plexus, and you put some of your weight behind it, and poof, you really get a nice solid connection. And Holg takes another 4 damage.
Yeah. But he's gonna connect again.
Alright, Holg is looking pretty rough now.
I taunt him. Feel like giving up, child.
And with that, Holg, he takes a step back and he brings his hands up defensively. And then he goes to jab with his left hand, but pulls it back like right before he makes a connection, and then brings his other hand around in a great big wide slap and just smacks you right across the face for another 4 damage.
Yeah. So we're gonna turn this into a slapping match, huh? I think this time I'm gonna go for the knee, which won't connect.
So you go for a quick shot to the knee, trying to...
HPG, why can't you just ever take the first roll instead of the second?
I kind of like the idea that Joe had, which is he uses the roll that shows up on the die.
But it doesn't show up on the die.
Well, when I roll, it shows up on the die.
Not when I roll. Okay, whatever.
And so you try and snap one foot out and aim for the knee, but unfortunately that falls a little bit short. It connects, but it doesn't hit with the force that you intended it to. And Holg is going to make another... Actually, you know what? Holg is going to try and attempt to grapple you.
Do I have to do a saving throw for these?
You may have to do a saving throw. Let me just double check the condition. Okay, so he's got to make an attack first. Okay, that's going to connect. Alright, Steve-O, I need you to make a strength check.
Alright. The regular strength check?
Yep, regular strength check. Okay, so Holg then lunges in and gets both hands around your midsection and tries to push you down onto your back. But you're able to catch him, and you dig in with both of your feet, and you got some pretty solid footing now. You're actually backed right up against the stone ring, and you do not budge a little bit, and you just push him right back. And you actually he almost topples out the other side of the ring with the force that you put into that push. And he looks at you and he wipes off a little bit of blood from his mouth with the back of his hand and just snarls at you.
I'm gonna do a leaping punch then. My turn, right?
It is your turn.
Come on, big money, no whammies.
Alright, so you run forward and jump into the air and bring your fist right down on top of Hulk's head. And you can see for a moment that he goes a little glass-eyed and falls down to his knees. And the sound that your fist made when it connected with his skull, it was loud enough that the crowd of people that are around you all go, ooh. And you would expect him to fall over at this point, but he slowly picks his head back up with some very heavy breathing and quite a bit of difficulty, and then gets back up to his feet. And he is going to attempt to grapple again. So this time he charges forward again to try and get around your midsection, but you saw this coming. He just did it before, so you're expecting it this time, and you're able to catch his hands with your hands and again toss him off to the side. It's your turn.
I'm just gonna go for a punch to the stomach then. Damn.
So you go for a punch to the stomach coming from below, trying to like uppercut him right in the stomach. But he twists a little bit and the punch just misses. And he is back up on his feet. And he uses that opportunity to drive a knee right into your midsection.
For another 4 damage.
For an additional 4 damage.
Oh man. Alright. So he need my stomach, right?
Yes, he needs your stomach. Here, I'm going to change this to be more representative of what his health currently is.
I can't see his health anyways.
Oh, okay. Well. Anyway, so yes, he just needs you in the stomach into the 4 damage, and it's now your turn.
I'm gonna go for the headbutt.
Alright.
Gee.
Steve-O, these rolls are not working for you today.
Right?
Well, I mean, at least it's a non-lethal combat.
Yeah.
Alright, so you rear back and you go for the headbutt, and he actually pushes against your chest to generate enough room that your head just misses his. And he is going to grab you and attempt to headbutt you, but the two of you have each other at arm's length, and you're able to just basically strong-arm him so that he stays out of range, and the two of you are just kind of just grappling each other at this point, but without actually having taken it to the ground.
Alright,
Your turn.
I'm gonna do like a WWE style takedown.
Okay.
I don't know what I have to roll for that.
Well, what's a WWE style takedown?
It's where you just sort of like pick him up and throw him to the ground, you know?
Okay, make an athletics check.
Let me see if I can. Would that be athletics or strength?
You're trying to pick him up, so I'm gonna go with. Yeah. Let's make an athletics check.
What? Okay.
Oh, Hulk critted. So, you go to pick him up and slam him down, but Hulk, displaying a surprising agility that you didn't quite know that he had, manages to twist and then break free of one of your hands so that you cannot get enough leverage to actually lift him up. And that is going to count as your turn. Alright, you said your AC is 15?
Yeah.
Okay. So he takes the opportunity
take another 4 damage.
You take another 4 damage as he lands a punch right on the side of your body.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go for a punch on his side of the body. God damn it!
Jeez, Steve-O. All right, so you go for a punch on the side of the body. He takes a very quick step forward, and your punch just misses. And he is going to use the opportunity to...
Do another 4 damage. What is this guy, like, Lucky Rules over there? Did he just Lucky Charms
you know what?
for
I feel
breakfast?
I should be showing you these because he has rolled. Let me see. He has rolled at least 7 of his attacks have gotten over 20 to connect.
I should have used Rage.
So you take an additional 4 damage as he manages to plant an elbow right square in the center of your chest.
Oh, I'm getting low HPG.
He's at 1 hit point right now.
So am I.
This turned out into a pretty fucking epic clash here. Okay, it's your turn, Steve-O.
Alright, I'm gonna go for the final kick. Yeah.
Alright. So describe this kick, because it's gonna win the fight, so let me hear how you win it.
Alright, I'm gonna plant my left foot into the sand and just big old kick with the right foot to knock him out of the ring. Hopefully, if I'm allowed to, knocking him into the air and sending him back a few feet.
Alright. So you rear back and you plant this big powerful kick up against Holg, and he is knocked clear of the ring outside the stone, flat onto his back, and he is unconscious.
I'll go grab a handful of water and throw it on his face then.
Alright, so in and amongst the cheers of the crowd that has slowly built around this ring, you've seen people have even started to come out of the nearby buildings just to catch a glimpse of this pretty epic contest between these two fighters that they've never seen before. And you go over and you retrieve some of the water from the well, which has... Actually, no. We haven't been able to find out whether or not this has stopped working. So I'm going to assume that it's still working for now. And you come back and you splash a little water on Holg's face, and he looks at you and is initially angry, and then a big smile spreads across his face, and you help him up. Well, it's up to you if you want to help him up. But he begins to get to his feet.
I'm feeling kind of charismatic today, so I'll help him up.
All right, so you help him to his feet, and the two of you clap each other.
Against my better nature.
And the two of you clap each other on the shoulder as kind of like a well-fought kind of gesture.
And then we head to the SS Kidney.
You're heading towards the ship?
Yeah, that was a tavern, right?
Yes, well, from what you can tell, that is a tavern, yes. So before you go, there is a man that steps out from one of the buildings. This one in particular, who stepped out of the building and kind of calls out to you before the two of you leave.
Describe
him to me.
Hmm? Describe him to me.
The man himself is very dark-skinned, but he's got a graying beard and hair. He's basically bald on the top, but he's got a little bit of the horseshoe going on. And he comes out and has a great big smile on his face. He's wearing some reasonably nice clothes. It's not common folk that it seems like you're dealing with. And he's got a little bit of finery and jewelry on. And a big grin on his face, and he says, "Oh, that was well done. Tell me, any of you fellows looking for a bit of work?"
I'm gonna follow Holg's lead. I don't feel like talking to this guy. If Holg is willing to turn around and walk away, I'm willing to turn around and walk away.
Holg, at this point, seems very, very concerned about getting food and kind of bandaging up some of the damage that he's just taken. He turns to this guy and says, "You. We'll talk after I've eaten." And then turns and walks towards the gleeful gallows.
Oh.
The man that came out and spoke to you seems a little bit bothered by the fact that his offer was rebuffed, but it wasn't a flat-out refusal, so he just shrugs and says, "All right, I'll see you soon then." and the two of you head towards the gleeful gallows, amidst the cheers and adulation of the crowd. All right, so while all of this has been going
Too
on,
bad Danny Sexbang wasn't there to play him a song.
Danny Sexbang would have had a problem doing that. He would have been a disadvantage for that performance role.
Oh. Because he had to compete with our performance?
Nope, because he had to travel all night and he's exhausted.
Oh, is he actually here?
Fuck, I shouldn't have said that. All right. So, Pedwin, what have you been up to? So, okay, so you want to make like a large collection of ice at the top of the mechanism? Like, where do you want this ice to be? How do you want to use it?
I'll be right back, by the way. You can keep going.
Okay. Okay, so you're trying to make a collection of ice that it will continue to feed the well? Okay. So let's say that you mage hand a bucket full of water up into the air and then ray of frost it in midair, and then it coalesces and freezes into this large mass of ice that is stuck to the roof of this stone structure, which in the heat of the day and the fact that the sun is beating down on this, it's already fairly warm, so you do begin to see a small trail of water that continues to drip down into the opening that then feeds into the pool. All right, so you repeat the process and you make a rather large collection of ice that is melting at a steady stream. It's not quite the same as what it was before, but there is still a noticeable trickle of water that is feeding the well. You're going to climb down the buckets. Okay, give me a second. Polygon reveal. Sorry, give me a sec. Well, I'll tell you that as you are in the stone structure and you've been in there for a little while, you do notice that there is a small hatch in the floor. And you surmise that it might be a little easier for you to get down there through that hatch than, say, climbing straight down the chain. Do you still want to do that? Entirely up to you. Okay, so you open up the hatch, and what it reveals to you... Okay, are you seeing this? Down towards the bottom? Alright, so you open up the hatch and your eyes adjust to the dark, which is very easy for you, being a gnome. And you can see that there is a small, disused ladder that is made of metal rungs that are bolted right into the stone siding of the cistern. And you notice the chain, which is now stopped moving, the chain with the buckets, that is dipping straight down into a square pool at the bottom and then coming back up to the room that you just came from. Well, the chain leads right into that pool of water. The trapdoor leads along the ladder, which follows one of the walls down. All right, you're gonna go down. Can you move your character? Well, I'm assuming you've climbed down the ladder the whole way, or are you gonna stop part way? Okay. All right. So you climb down this ladder, and again, you can tell that this place has not really been used very much. The ladder itself, the metal is rusty and corroded from exposure to the water and not having been cleaned at all. So it's even a little slimy on the way down, and the smell here of decomposition is a little stronger. And you reach the bottom, you put your feet down on solid stone ground, and you look about a cylindrical cistern, which slopes inward gently, and then ends with a square pool of water that the chain mechanism seems to disappear into, and that is the source of the water. You can make an investigation check if you would like. Okay. So, as you are looking around, you can't help but notice that there is a very slight air current to the cistern itself, which is quite surprising given that it is so far underground. But as you move around, you do notice that there is a very, very slight flow of air coming off of the northernmost wall. And upon closer investigation, you can see that the bricks themselves are very loose and not held in place with mortar or anything else. They're literally stacked there to just look like a wall. Okay, so you move aside many of the bricks, and you come across a large stone door that is made of a different kind of stone than the cistern itself. You knock, and there is no response. The door itself bears a small it bears a small symbol on it that you have associated with the School of Evocation, given your knowledge from the College of Farmatting. You set it on fire, and nothing happens. You can. So as you get close and you touch the door itself, you notice that it is very cold to the touch, despite the fact that you just hit it with fire. You cast Ray of Frost on the door. The door seems to absorb the energy of the attack, and then with a rough grinding sound, begins to slowly lower into the ground.
Hold on. Can we just stop for a second and admire HPG's almost perfect replication of a Legend of Zelda noise?
Thank you. Alright, so this door finishes sliding down and becoming part of the floor. And the smell of decomposition is much, much stronger now. And you peer into the darkness. Where's the thing for this? There it is. Okay. And you see that the stone has changed very significantly. Where it was gray stone brick before, it is now much closer to a natural cavern formation. The rock is a mixture of a muddy brown and some gray. there is a much higher degree of moisture in this seeming cavern that you've discovered. And you peer off into the distance as far as your vision will let you, which is... It is 60, and let me get this thing over here to do... Oh, wait, give me a sec. Ah, reveal, come on, fuck, alright. That is about 60 feet. Okay, so you're going to walk out of the cavern? Alrighty. So go ahead and move your character. Okay, hang on, let me bring up your character sheet here. Hang on, I gotta bring up a new thing here. Okay. Oh no, you could see that. That is unfortunate. That is not something you were supposed to see. Alright, so as you walk into this cavern, near as you can tell, it's empty. You do notice what appears to be a stalactite. Hang on, I get it. Which is the one that comes up from the ground?
Stalagmites?
Yeah, so it's a stalagmite that is coming up out of the ground.
I don't know if that's true. I think those hang from the ceiling.
Okay. So you... Okay, so a stalagmite is kind of coming up out of the ground, and you can see the point on the roof that is dripping water very slightly, and a small stalactite has formed. And you can surmise that in a couple hundred years, eventually they're going to meet and form a pillar of rock. But hang on, 60 feet from there is like that. Okay, so I will give you out to here. A little bit more there. Okay, so you said you're investigating the stalagmite on your left? Okay. Make a perception check. Okay. Out of the corner of your eye, behind the stalagmite, a dark figure bolts. And it is making a straight line directly for the door that you opened. And it can get to about... Yeah, it's basically... It's where the door is, but apparently the door just overrides everything, so I'm just gonna... Okay, he's where the stone door that you opened is. He looks back at you momentarily, and you do see a humanoid shape, but he just runs as fast as he can towards the cistern. You were going to cast Sleep on him, okay? Do you have to make... There's no ranged attack for that, right? Okay, you have the spell slots for it? Alright, and so what... does he have to make a saving throw or anything like that? Okay. Make your spell, please. Oh, wow. Okay, so the figure that you cast sleep at, he appears to become drowsy for just a moment, and then shakes it off and continues his sprint out of this cave and out of the door that you've opened, and you can now no longer see him. But you do. He looked like a normal peasant. Like he didn't have anything outstanding. From what you could tell, the silhouette was quite a large person. But other than that, you didn't really get a very good glimpse at him. Oh, hang on, let's see. Your perception was 22. Actually, you know what? That's a pretty good roll. So you could tell that it was definitely a humanoid shape. He appeared to be very, very burly, so very thick-limbed. Oh, his clothes. Sorry. The clothes were mostly like leather boots, leather gloves, and like some tough fabric tunic and pants. So definitely like working person's clothing. But it wasn't. It didn't imply any kind of nobility, if that's what you were looking for. Well, from what you can tell, they look like normal person's working clothes: a light-colored tunic, dark-colored pants, leather boots, leather gloves, and he is now out of your sight. All right, so you let out a couple of heavy sighs. Okay. So 60 feet out. Oh, you might as well see straight to the back wall there. It's pretty brave of you. And this is what you see. You see straight down to the back walls. And you can see a small depression in the land to the north of you. So it seems that, things kind of almost like a natural cistern in that the ground slowly slopes inwards. And you can't see it, but you do hear the sound of trickling water. Well, so you're looking down to the south one? You see basically a cavern that... Oh, I see. You're going... Okay, right. All right, 60 feet out to here is going to be... Oh, fun. Okay. What you do notice is as you are walking out to the right, is that you do encounter what appears to be an increasing amount of gossamer strand that is connecting floor to ceiling, cavern, pieces of the stone of the natural cavern formation, just kind of all across the place. From what you can tell, there are a lot of webs in one particular region of this cavern. The smell of decomposition is becoming stronger. All right, so you are leaving, I take it. Okay. So what webs are you lighting on fire? Okay, so that'll be... All right. Give me a sec here. Okay, so you're using firebolt, or what are you doing here as far as setting things on fire? Okay, so fire off 3 of them. Okay. So the first attack, you shoot at the closest piece of webbing, and it appears to mostly pass through the strands. It has done a little bit of damage, but not very much. The second one that you fire over here, this one seems to connect with the cave wall, and it kind of bursts out from there, and ignites almost the entire thing. And you do see the skittering of a couple of small creatures. That then burst forth from the web that you set on fire to skitter into nearby webs that you cannot see, and they disappear again. Okay, and the third web that you hit, it nearly fully is engulfed in flame, but a few pieces of the strands remain, and that does appear to be where one of the spiders that you saw skitter away. And these spiders they're bigger than you're accustomed to. They're about the size of a dinner plate, from what you saw. All right, you are heading out then? Okay. You are piecing the fuck out of here. Well, I mean, you can move your character. No, you were not in combat. You did well in not being very close. All right, so as you are heading back to the cistern, you notice that the door is starting to rumble again and is slowly raising back up out of the floor. I'm going to need you to make an athletics check. Yes, acrobatics or athletics. I'll let you choose either. But you're proficient in acrobatics, aren't you? Okay, so your history of dueling and getting yourself flung around all of these magic combat arenas, this is nothing. This thing is only maybe up to like waist height on you, and as you make it, you put both hands down and you handspring out over top of the door and land very easily on your feet, skidding to a stop in the cistern as the door shuts behind you. You give a bow to no one. Make an Arcana check. Actually, no. You know what? Let's make it a straight intelligence check.
How smart is Joe?
So you are relatively familiar with a lot of magical objects and devices, and from what you remember, I see. Okay, so you would have 16 then instead of 14? Okay, well it's not history, but I kind of consider it all in, like, I consider this both Arcana and history, which is why I went with straight intelligence. What you can remember is that there are devices in place that are tuned to react to a specific kind of magic before they'll do their job. And from what you can gather, this is an enchantment that's been placed on this piece of stone, that it only reacts to one kind of spell, and from what you determined earlier, that appears to be a frost spell from the Evocation School of Magic. I'm sorry? It seemed to close automatically after a period of time, but the frost spell certainly worked the charm for opening it. Alright, so you are now once again standing in the cistern. The door has closed behind you. Alright. You're going to leave everything as it is? Well, there was the wall that you had to disassemble to find this door. And so there's currently a whole bunch of loose bricks that are spread about. All right. So you head out and back up through the up the stairwell that you, or the ladder that you climbed before, and you find yourself back in the small building that that you were in before, that you took the trapdoor down to get into that cistern in the first place. So you're going to refresh the massive ice you put up there. All right, so you once again take one of the few remaining buckets of water that are within reach of your mage hand, and you toss it up and Ray of Frost it, and you swell up with a little bit more ice on top of that large mass that you established, and then walk out. You do notice that the door has been left open this time, whereas you recall closing it the last time that you were up here. There are some guards nearby, yes. One is watching the cages, but, well, he's just watching the cages. And the other one appears to be guarding a nearby tent. The last time that you tried to get into and out of the well, nobody seemed to pay any particular mind to who was coming and going from there. So it doesn't appear that anyone was looking specifically at it, but you could, if you wanted to, ask. The guard looks at you and then looks back at the well building and says, "Well, I'm not really in charge of this comings and goings of the staff of that of the cistern, but seemed like a regular fella. A little bleary-eyed." Lizardy. He points over to the cages. "What, like one of them?" "No, I'd recognize one of them." As he points over to the lizard man, and you notice a lizard man in the cage, the bear that's in the closest cage to you is staring very intently at you and only you. As you go, it sort of makes a small noise, and then it begins pawing at the bars. All right, so are you going to head, or what are you going to get up to now? The last thing that you saw is that Pedwin and Big Mo, or sorry, Big Mo and Holg were fighting in the pit. Okay. Well, you head over to the ship, the Gleeful Gallows that you saw before, and you do notice that Holg and Big Mo are walking up towards the entrance to the Gleeful Gallows. And all three of you walk inside and sit down to order a meal.
It took us a while to get there.
Well, he was doing that while you guys were fighting.
Oh.
So all three of you happen to show up here at basically the same time. You sit down at a table and order yourselves some food and drink. As you are relating the story of what you found to these guys, you look about the building, quote unquote, that you're in, You walked up a small staircase right into the side of a ship that had been intentionally cut open for this purpose, and so you're in what would equate to the hold, but it's been done up to be significantly nicer than the hold of a ship. There are many tables strewn about. There's a small band playing on an elevated stage off towards the bow of the ship, and there's just the general kind of hum of a tavern. It's about 10:30 in the morning at this point, so it's not terribly busy, but there are a few people that are finishing up their food and their drink. And as you look about the tavern, you notice Danny and Kanye are also in this tavern. And they appear to be talking to what is the most beautiful woman you've ever seen up to this point. And the two of them, they have not even acknowledged your presence. Their focus has been entirely on this woman. Holg, who has been, up until now, just ravenously shoveling food into his face, he stops and looks straight at this woman for a moment, and then a really big grin spreads across his face. And you hear him... this woman is not wearing leather, no. She is wearing just kind of a normal dress, for lack of a better term. It's like a tunic that's tucked, and she's wearing a skirt as something separate, but it's all cloth material. The clothes are quite plain, but it doesn't disguise the fact that she's got very, very beautiful looking hair and just a very pretty face. Like a nice complexion and just all around good looking woman by anybody's standards. I don't know about that last part. There are no rings on her finger, but she does have a gold earring. And Holg, who has stopped eating, reaches back and tugs at the corner of his ear, and you hear him mutter something under his breath.
Oh.
She
that's
immediately
the lady
stops
he was
talking
looking for.
to Kanye and Danny, and you see her take a quick scan around the room. She says one last thing to Kanye and Danny, and then skips off to the side and out of view. Holg smiles and gets up. Hello.
Is he gonna beat her to death with his 1 HP?
User left your channel.
Holg disappears around the same corner that she did. And he is currently out of sight.
I'm gonna follow him. Wherever he went.
They actually went off to the side near okay, they went over here. So it's actually not important where the players are positioned right now, because I'm just going to describe the scene.
I'm over there anyways.
Okay, so you two get up to follow Holg, and Kanye and Danny, who now have finally recognized your presence, and they say hello to you. They're looking a little bit worse for the wear, pretty tired, but other than that, just fine. And so all of a sudden, these four people get up and follow around the corner where this half-orc disappeared. You get there and you see Holg is, for the first time, he's chatting and joking with someone he seems quite familiar with. And he turns to notice the fact that all of you followed him. And he addresses the group of you. And he says, well, he turns back to this woman and says, about time we found you. So, what have you learned? And this woman, for the first time, speaks. And she has a voice that you didn't necessarily anticipate. It's a little bit on the raspy side. It's not harsh by any means.
Like a smoker?
Not like a smoker, but
Hey guys, what's up?
no, because that's a horrifying sound. She first off says hello to each and every one of you.
Hello, each and every one of you.
So she greets you all, and then turns to Holg and says, I haven't had any luck locating the compass, but I've learned quite a bit about this place. What's that? Underneath the cistern.
He also thinks everybody above land are pod people.
Spiders. Well, I suppose it can't be helped. She starts walking towards the exit, and she turns back to you and she says, I haven't been hired to find spiders.
Oh. I
And as
haven't
she-
been hired to find spiders.
She turns and walks out of the side of the ship, and one of the other staff members calls out to her and says, "Hey, you can't leave yet. Your shift's not done." She turns back to him and flips both middle fingers at him and says, "Find someone else to do it," and then walks out.
Oh, snap.
Which dude? Oh, it hasn't really been that long. I would say maybe like 20, 30 minutes. What do you want to do? And what would be the object that you were finding? Okay, give me a second to see if I can figure out how this is going to work. You're not? No, it was all pretty standard stuff. I just need to check out how a spell works. Give me a second.
Mamma mia, pizzeria.
Okay, so are you going to do that? Okay. 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 So, you sit down and you begin to focus and mutter some arcane enchantments to yourself, and do a few motions with your hand, and then it seems as if your awareness begins to expand, and and reach outwards from your own physical form, and it starts to encompass the entirety of the crossroads, from what you can tell. And these boots are not very far from you. You get a general sense that they are coming from some of the tents towards the north of town. And as you're trying to home in a little bit more closely on where specifically they are, exactly, as you are triangulating, your sense of these boots vanishes. It's as if the object you were looking for no longer exists. You got a pretty good sense that it was in one of the three tents, one of the three larger tents in the north of the city. Sorry, these three. The big one and then the two ones closer to the northern exit. Oh right, I guess I can reveal her now. Okay, there she is.
I'm gonna follow her. Sounds like a plan. Hey,
Okay, so
Danny and
it's-
Kanye are gonna follow her just
Oh
because
yeah, they are quite enamored with her.
I'll give her some space.
Well, this is purely just, it's easier for me to move everybody when you're in a big pack like this.
I'll give her some space.
Okay, so you're following Pedwin's bloodhound-like sense of direction as far as where those boots were the last time he was able to detect them. Yes, you're going to be first in marching order because you got the sense of where this thing is.
Right.
What, you're going off on your own then? Well, Holg is chatting with this woman in a pretty familiar manner, and Holg is sticking with you. Yeah.
Hey, after the fight with Hulk, do we still have 1 health, or was it just like a play fight?
I will say that you could have taken a short rest, so you can heal up your hit die, but Holg used up his hit die.
Okay.
So he actually reached into a pouch and popped a potion.
What hit die do I use?
There should be the only one for your class.
I see a D8, a D6, a D10, and a D12.
You're a barbarian, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're a D10? I think it's a D12, yeah.
Yeah, hit die is D12.
Okay, yeah, so
Can I roll
you
it
are-
twice? How many rolls do you get on a hit die?
you're level 3, so you get 3 hit die to choose to use.
I think I'm gonna roll 2. They're not showing up. Oh. Yeah, I see. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna use all 3.
Alright, so you back up to full?
Wait, is that right? What's it adding to it?
It's... Yes.
Am I supposed to do that?
Yep.
I need to figure out how to add. 12 plus 13 is 20. I had 1 health. Okay, I'm good with that. Yeah. Holg and I both had 1 health before I
Yeah,
started
it was
the final
1
blow.
HP when Steve-O won.
We were both at 1 HP.
They had themselves a nice little fist fight that caught the attention of a good chunk of the town. Okay, so...
Is our 3rd horse over there now? Since Danny Sexbang is in town?
well, it's tied up somewhere else, but I'll say you guys brought it over to this one. So now all 3 of your horses are tied up at the western edge of town. But keep in mind that 3 horses wasn't enough for all of you before, and you now have 1 more person with you.
I'd assume she has her own horse.
Well, you don't know what she's got.
We can also probably buy horses here, can't we?
You did see someone that is selling horses here, yes.
Yeah. Other people have money. I'm not the only one that has had money.
Okay, so go in north in pursuit of this thing. This person.
Look at us
This
traveling like a
disappearing pair
party.
of boots. Okay, so do you want to just make an investigation check, or do you want to look at them individually, Pedwin? Or you could ask somebody, or you could do whatever you like. Certainly. Which one do you want to look at? Okay, so you're going to look at this front one here. Okay, so you poke your head in, and you see several long tables that have all sorts of people sitting at them, and everybody seems to be... there are people that are rolling die, there are people that are playing cards, there's stacks of gold here and there, silver, copper, all of that. And it's just kind of a general hum of conversation. Some of it pretty boisterous, some of it pretty sullen. You can see some people looking rather dejected with their very small stacks of coins, and other people that seem to be having a great time and have great big stacks of gold in front of them. You look around and no boots stand out to you, no. But why don't you go ahead and make a perception check? Alright, that's pretty good. Okay, so you're looking around and you can definitely tell that this is some kind of gambling hall from your understanding of having seen previous gambling halls. It's not a terribly difficult deduction. As you look around, you don't see anyone that looks like they're wearing boots like you had discovered. But as you walk around, there are a couple of people that are giving you sideways glances, and one person that's trying really hard to avoid you. Make a deception check. Okay. So you reached over and you pointed and you called Spider right directly at a group of gamblers, who then all look at you rather confusedly, and they said, "No, it's a dice game. I've never heard of Spider." Somebody walks up to you and asks if you would like to join one of the games. He is edging his way towards the entrance to the tent. Oh, well, all right. Can you stealthily cast something?
Never hurts to try.
Okay. Okay, give me a second here. I gotta read a couple things. No, he didn't. He didn't cast
Spaghetti.
any immunity spells. No, he doesn't have charm. He does see that you clearly you know that that you're kind of homing in on him. So he takes a very deep sigh and then walks up to you. And he leans in and he says, "I didn't say thanks for getting me out of there." I was being punished for my failing. My name. And he thinks very. It almost sounds like he's got a very like far off sense of self, and then he snaps back to attention. Rowan. My name is Rowan. Okay, perform an insight check. He definitely doesn't sound sure of himself, but you don't really know. The thing that you find more strange than anything else that you didn't really clue into until now, the person that you saw leave and the person that are speaking to you now look completely different from each other. As in, they don't look anything like. They're not the right build, they're different. They're a different facial feature, they're not wearing the boots, they are completely different. He smiles, a very strange smile, and says, "I do that." He leans in real close and goes, "Shh." He then reaches out and puts a hand on your shoulder.
Did you know 90% of all gay relationships start with a hand on the shoulder?
So, well, actually, I do know, but you don't know that. So he puts a hand on your shoulder, and he seems to close his eyes for a moment. He then it opens his eyes up, and he takes his hand off of your shoulder. He says, "I owe you for releasing me, but I have to go now." And then he steps back out of the tent.
You're gonna follow a
You're
werewolf?
gonna follow it? Okay, so he leaves the tent, and he actually walks out towards a building that you haven't seen before. So I'm just going to create a placeholder for this. Actually, you know what? I can probably just find a random token for him. Okay, so for lack of something else, I'm going to use that to symbolize this guy. Well, he doesn't actually look like this. It's just I needed a token. From the way he looks now, he looks like a regular denizen of the area that you're in. So he walks out and across, and you're following him, you said? All right. Big Mo. This is what? See, this is what I was actually going to ask. So, Big Mo, what have you been doing during this time?
I've just been watching.
Okay, so you see someone that Pedwin had spoken to, and then this guy steps out of the tent and starts walking towards the east, and Pedwin begins to follow him. What are you doing?
I'm gonna follow him.
All right.
Edwin, that is.
Well, Holg seems to be sticking with you, and this woman sticking with Holg. So therefore, Danny and Kanye are sticking with you as well.
Looks like you got a whole party to go with you.
And so the group of you follow this guy.
I like how everybody moves.
No, there was a symbol on it that was indicative of the school of evocation. So it wasn't about your school, it was about that school of magic. Okay, so...
Use your words, Joe.
So this person says that it's a hidden door. Most people can't open it. I'm not certain how you did. Although... That's a neat trick. And he, for a moment, closes his eyes and seems to almost reminisce for a moment. And then they snap open. And he says, "What other spells do you know?" Explosions sounds fun. And he's continuing to walk towards this building. It is at this point that the bear that's in that cage has slammed itself against the bars and roars loudly, and it's looking straight at this guy. The creature turns around and looks at it and stops and thinks for a little while, and he says, "No, definitely not a friend." Couldn't tell you. I'd have to get to know him. And with that, he turns and keeps walking towards this building, which is a pretty large wood structure. And you happen to notice that as you guys are walking towards this, the area has a whole bunch of cut logs nearby, and it seems to be a processing area for raw lumber. There are men that are working on cutting logs into different sections and basically just kind of prepping timber from raw lumber that they've gotten.
I'm all for chaos.
They're a pretty strong, like... Yeah, the door is keyed. It's this guard right here. Actually, sorry, it's not that guard. Because the guard is just watching them. There's a merchant that's trying to sell these things, and he seems to be a little bit panicked right now that one of the creatures that he managed to trap and is trying to sell is freaking out, and it's scaring away his customers.
Wait, so what's wrong with this guy? I've been half paying attention because my character probably has no clue what's going on anyways. So I thought it best. Let it eat him. Okay. I'm okay with that. Yep.
From the merchant? Yeah, that would be the merchant that's trying to sell these things. Okay, so you're trying to mage hand the keys away? Now, I thought mage hand you have to see the thing you're trying to grab. Or you have to picture it in your head, don't you?
I think it's yeah, I think it's a hand so you can go looking for things with it and stuff like that.
So you're gonna go rooting around inside somebody's pocket with your mage hand?
Hmm.
So as you're about to do this, the woman that up until now has just been chatting with Holg, she grew silent for a little bit, and she walks up and puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "That may not be necessary." The person that you were talking to disappeared inside the building near the logs, and you no longer can see him. The bear seems to have calmed down a little bit now that he's lost sight of him, but it's still really trying to get out.
That guy went into the building right
That
there?
guy went into the building.
Can we I'm just gonna can I walk into the building?
So you head towards the building, and this woman again raises a hand and says, "You probably don't want to do that."
Which woman?
The
That
woman
woman?
that you guys met. He's planning on attacking you.
Okay. So I'm gonna start walking towards the building again.
So she tells you that, and the dude that disappeared.
I'm
She
keeping
looks
myself on
towards
high guard though.
she looks towards the bear and takes a step forward, and then turns back around and says, "That thing is not what it seems."
The bear?
She points at Pedwin and says, "Bingo."
Both of them? Where'd the guy disappear to? Back here? Or in here?
The woman speaks up again, and she's looking at Pedwin, and she says, "2 for 2, but they're not the same thing."
So that's not a bear.
Well, the guy that you saw, you don't. It's pretty obvious that he's not the same thing that's trapped in that cage.
You're telling me that it's not a bear, but it is a large angry beaver.
No. The thing that's in the bear that's in the cage, whatever creature that is not the same creature that just walked into that building.
Well, we know that. They're obviously two separate things. Oh. So what walked into the building? Well, I'm hoping Miss Red Hair over here can explain that to us.
She seemingly shrugs off your questions, Devo, because she's still staring at that bear. And then she turns back around to Pedwin, and she says, "Where did you find that thing? That creature that just left." She seems to think to herself for a moment, and Holg walks up. And he speaks to her. "What's going on inside that head of yours, Aya?" She turns to him and says, "Someone's down there." Someone that he, to which she indicates the bear, really wants us to help. She turns to you and says, "Let me see if I can explain. This one," and she points to the bear, "is a thinking, feeling creature, like you. And it is trapped in a cage, and it is screaming for help."
As she's saying that, can I go and see if I can rip open the doors of the cage? I like bears. They're big.
So you're gonna try and bust open the bars of a cage?
Yep. I'll use my great axe for leverage. Yeah? The bear obviously wants out. And it's not a snake person, so I can trust it. And she just said it was thinking, feeling, so I'm all for it. I'm all for chaos.
Alright, I'm gonna need you to make a strength check with disadvantage because there is a merchant that's beating you with a stick to try and get you to stop. He's a pretty small guy. He's very weak and clearly has no chance of physically stopping Steve-O. Because he's still trying to tear the iron bars off of a cage. And that's real hard. No, that's just a moderate distraction. Is that it there that you just did, Steve-O?
Yeah.
Okay. You grab the bars and you pull with all of your might. And
Is this when I'm using my axe for leverage?
Oh, sorry. You jammed your axe between the bars and you're leaning against it?
Yep.
So the bear, which initially was like kind of enraged, has just been staring at who you now know is her name is Aya, and she is staring at this bear, and the bear is staring back at her, and it seems to calm down quite a bit, and then she leans up and the bear leans up and presses its hands against the bar and pushes as well.
Does it
The
open?
guard who has been watching this is now calling out for assistance.
This sounds like our usual. She'll start lighting beds on fire.
So these
That was just a joke. You don't actually have to light things on fire.
So the two guards have run up. Right, Steve-O's on that side. Let's put these
Unless
over
the door's
here.
on the other side.
Well, you just started bending bars, so it didn't matter where the door was.
Did I break open the door?
With your strength and that of the bear, you have successfully broken open this cage.
Yes.
Because that bear is real strong.
So the bear's out.
The bear's out. The guards are coming up to you because you just tore open a cage with a fucking bear inside it. And they are approaching you with weapons drawn.
I'm gonna put my weapon away and start backing away towards the party again.
The two guards turn towards the bear, and the bear just fucking roars at them. Let me see here.
Intimidation check. 48.
It's a bear intimidation check.
Can I turn to what's her name while this is going on and ask if the wolf is friendly too?
She looks for a moment at the wolf, and then shakes her head and says, "The wolf is an animal. If you let it out, it will run. It might attack you."
I'll just watch the bear thing going on then. That's all I have to say.
So the two guards have run up and they've got their spears out. The merchant has just left. He's nowhere to be seen. The lizard man seems to be looking around very nervously from inside his cage. He's not entirely certain what's going on either, but he's definitely watching this with great interest. Some more guards come out of the building down south and are making their way over here. The bear has now fully gotten out of the cage with a little bit of difficulty and just roars at these guards, who then take a step back, and where they were going to attack it before, they're just kind of holding position now, and they really don't want to get any closer to this thing. So what do you guys do?
I'm gonna walk up next to the bear with my great axe drawn this time. I can't get but and say, well, if you're gonna hurt the bear, you're gonna have to get through me too. I like bears. They've hit my soft spot.
So more of the guards have shown up, and the gentleman that spoke to you before, he comes out of the large tent nearby, so this tent over here. So again, the same person you're familiar with. He's in the relatively nice blue clothes, very dark-skinned, graying hair and beard. He comes out and is immediately starting to throw questions around. It's like, what's going on out here? Who is this? Who opened this? And points to the cage itself. He really doesn't seem all that frightened by the fact that the bear is on the loose. But the bear itself is just standing there defensively. It hasn't attacked anybody. And it's looking around. I wouldn't say... Actually, you know what? I will say fairly frantically, because it doesn't want to be there anymore. But it's clearly not trying to hurt anybody. It is at this time that Holg walks up to that guy. The dark-skinned person that was talking to you before. And he said, he says to this man, "Are these your men? Tell him to stand down." The guy who you were speaking to before turns back to Holg. And he says, "My men will follow my orders, not yours." "Who opened this?" Again, he calls out loud, and one of the guards points to you. Big Mo.
Yep.
And this guy again walks past the bear. Again, seemingly not afraid at all. He takes a quick look at him. He takes a quick look at the bear, and then he turns to you and says, "I liked the show you put on before, but I can't have you destroying my place of business. Why have you done this?"
I like the bear.
"Well, I think the bear likes you, but I can make a great deal of money off of this bear." At that point, the bear does growl, and he looks back at the bear, and he says, "And I think this bear is smart enough to know what's good for it." And where it was in a very aggressive stance before, fur bristling and kind of tensed muscles at the ready, it seems to withdraw and slacken a little bit. And then it actually walks back into the cage.
What? I wanted chaos. I can make chaos still.
Well, apparently this guy that you're dealing with, he's got quite a degree of control over everybody here.
How big is this guy?
He's not all that big.
Is it big enough where I can pick him up by his shirt?
You would have to make an athletics check.
Would I have to do athletics check? Okay. I'll pick him up by his shirt and say the bear does not go back in its cage. With my damn it! Why do I always get the worst rolls for shit like this? Every time I'm trying to do something that's not battle, I get critical fails. What's gonna happen?
Okay.
I'm gonna like topple forward instead or some shit?
So you get a hold of this guy's robes and you go to lift him up, and you've got a really good grip on the robes, and they just tear. And so you're now holding a torn piece of fabric and you're staring at this guy who is now staring at the big hole in the robes that he was wearing and where that now is. And he looks back. Yeah? There's a whole bunch of wood right behind you.
There's also the tent he walked out of.
I'm going to be perfectly honest, most of the stuff here is flammable.
Joe, you've got like the whole base you can light on fire. Like, I don't think.
Okay, so what, where are you going and what are you lighting on fire? Yeah, they're just vertically standing logs. It's a small platform. Okay. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. So, Pedwin disappears behind some of these cut logs, and bolts of fire just start flying around this place.
I wonder who's lighting things on fire. Like, I don't understand the point of hiding.
Well, you wanted chaos, and there are certainly lots of people running around now. So, there are people that are fleeing out of the tents that you saw that were some of the gambling halls before. They are running in all which directions. Some people have large amounts of coin that they're just clutching to their chest as they run. And they're being pursued by other players, other guards. The man that Big Mo tore the shirt from, he looks pissed, but looks much more concerned with the fact that fire has just broken out in several places across the camp.
Danny Sexbane, Kanye the Giant.
So Danny and Kanye get the message, and
You might as well steal horses while you're at it too, because we're already deep in shit.
There might be a chance to do that. And they start heading out towards the horses. So guards have sprang forth from many, many buildings. Out of the building on the right that you set on fire, the door flies open and several individuals flee. And they're actually running straight towards the well in the center of town. And some people... All right, so that's what you're doing. So the person whose shirt Big Mo tore, he turns to his first thing is he actually turns to the bear, and he says, "You stay in there, or you're never seeing him again. You understand?"
We
And
had
the
to
bear,
go under the well.
it growls, but it doesn't move from the cage that it's in. He turns to the nearby guards. He says, "You two, deal with that." And he points to one of the fires. He turns to a third one. "Wake the rest of the men. I need them out here dealing with this." He turns to the last one that's nearby to him. And he says, "And find that old man that's supposed to be pumping this water and beat him." The well has stopped pumping for a while now, and lots of water is being taken very rapidly from it at this point. So the diminishing water level is quite noticeable. The last thing this person does before he turns to walk away is he looks at Steve-O. So he looks at Big Mo. He says, "I liked this robe. You
Then I'll,
better be paying for a new one."
I'll look at him and say, "Well, I hope they give you a refund."
He snaps his fingers, and two of the other nearby guards that were running to help for the water stop and move to his side. And he just
Uh-oh.
points a finger at you.
Then, so I assume they're a decent distance away.
Right now, it's... Oh, hang on, I got a ping here.
And then
so these are the two guards that are going to be coming to you. So these two have fucked off to try and deal with the fire. And these... no, not Holg. Holg has gone back with Aya. And they are moving with Kanye and Danny towards the horses.
there's just the bear and I.
It's just the bear and you at this point.
And these two guards are gonna stop us.
These two guards are interested in stopping you.
Right. Can I assume I have a little bit of time to do quick dialogue with the bear before the guards.
You have a little
Initiate?
bit of time. They're not on you just yet.
All right. Can I ask the bear if he knows where his friend is? If he, I assume he understands some sort of human speak. As he was listening to that guy.
The bear, it looks at you while you ask it its question. It takes a big nod, and then it actually stands up onto two legs and uses one arm to point at the well.
Like the door to the well?
Well, no, just kind of in the general direction of the well. Like he's pointing out in this way.
Okay, so can I tell the bear, let's go get him and get out of here? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna tell that to the bear.
It seems very excited to hear that answer, and it leaps out of the cage, knocking over one of the guards that have come to accost you. The guy whose robe you tore, he looks at you, he looks at the bear, and a very sly grin spreads across his face. And he says, "That was the last mistake you're making." He's always had a bit of that accent. I just haven't been good at conveying it.
And at this point, Joe lights his robes on fire because they're obviously very flammable and not well made.
No, I think. Well, I think
Didn't you do that to
there's
a
some
guard?
special thing you got to do for that.
Oh, I think you did that to a guard in one of the sessions. Okay.
Yeah, he was using a different spell there.
So the bear's running away though.
Well, the bear has charged out, and it knocks the two guards that are interested in pursuing you completely flat on their asses.
All right, then I'm gonna follow the bear wherever it runs to.
The bear, after knocking them on their asses, is moving towards the northern exit of the town.
Can I follow him? I assume I can run fast enough to follow him.
Certainly, you can. So at this point, there is a general sense of panic as some of the fires continue to spread. Some of them seem to be getting put out. There wasn't all that many before it began, but the ones that are burning quite furiously. And the attempts of this ragtag town militia to control it they're working, but they've got their hands full and they can't really deal with the group of you right now. The man whose robes you tore has disappeared. He went back into the tent that he was nearby to, and you haven't seen him again. So, the bear and Big Mo are headed towards the north. Pedwin, you say you're going to the horses? Okay, so you do? Well, you can choose to head to the north now, or you can choose to head to the horses. You've got to do one of those two things. Okay. So you three, I'm actually going to have Holg and Aya are going to go with Big Mo and the bear. And you three can run through towards the horses. Now you found your 3 horses, but there are others there as well. There are people everywhere. It's panic right now. There's nobody looking directly at you. All right. Okay, so you're taking another 4 horses.
Isn't that a band?
So, the lot of you. Now, are you going to try and ride through the town, or are you going to leave and then go, like... Okay. So as you leave and go north...
I love how everybody moves in a group like that. I like the way it looks.
Well, the thing is, I can select you all as a group, so... Like, look, I can spin you too. Look at you spin.
Nice.
So, the bear breaks through the northern gate, and then immediately pulls a hard left and starts moving straight east.
Uh-oh.
And this group stops right at the edge of that grate that you saw before. Pedwin and Pedwin, Danny, and Kanye, with more horses than you guys arrived with, stop here at the other side. And the bear is pawing at this grate. And it seems to shudder for a moment. And then the form of the bear withdraws, and it begins to shrink and shrivel. And with a very strange kind of growl, almost like a yawn or a stretching sound, the flesh begins to distend and reshape, and the form of a man, a naked guy for that matter, but the form of a man, is standing there over top of the grate, staring right down at the grate itself. He's a pretty hairy dude, and Pedwin, you are immediately reminded of the physique of the person that you saw leaving the cistern. What? Oh, you were saying, so you're talking about the other guy? No, but he looked exactly like my brother. Where did you find him? In the pit. You can see, you can, you see him shrug for a moment, and then reach down and begin pulling on the grate to slowly start to lift it up and out of position.
I'll help him.
All right, so the two of you together are strong enough to shift this grate off to the side, and there is now half of the circular hole is exposed, and you can see down into a pit. I think that is a good place to stop.
That's good. I have to go to bed soon anyway.
Okay, so we will call it there then. Let me get some of this shit sorted out. The lizard men, we got all three of them. All right, well that was fun, guys. But I gotta admit, you did stuff I didn't think you were gonna do.
I'm liking the whole just doing things without thinking about it. It makes it more fun. There's more of a sense of danger and risk to it if you do it like that instead of trying to play everything safe.
Okay, so all three, Pedwin and Big Mo and Holg have all gained 100 experience points.
Yeah. Did we ever get experience for the last session?
I don't think you did, but it was mostly role playing, so I will award you an additional 50, each of you. Actually, you know what, you did, no, you did a little bit more than that. You did the searching for the horses and asking some of the questions around town. I'll have you each gain,
1
100
level.
for the previous, no, not a level.